All right, so we're here with Harrison today, who's working on Alexa for Musicians, right?
Yeah.
Now, we haven't even gotten started yet. We're at the very beginning stages of this project.
Yes.
What have you been able to do so far?
So far, I've just been basically training myself on GitLab, Firebase, Postman, um, and honestly, Flask, because it looks like a lot of the GCF backend functions it looks like they're all based on Flask. um, so I made a little test demo where I was able to upload an MP3 and a WAV file to Firestore using Firebase, because I was looking through the code base, and I saw you guys were using Firebase, and that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. Yeah, I have a list of several questions that I wanted to ask you, because
Excellent.
there's some things I'm still confused on. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Cool. We can either start with your questions, or we can start by switching over to your screen and looking at the code base you have right now.
Okay. Yeah, I just downloaded. I just cloned the master repository. But yeah, let me open up the code that I wrote here in a little bit. Let me find it. All right, got it open. Let me share my screen. Can you see that?
I see it.
Awesome. Cool. So here's just a little add album project I created. Import Firebase. I got my config right here, initialized. Got storage, and then so the database path was so you guys gave me, or you sent me an empty Firebase like demo project, correct?
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah. So here it is: musicians, my musicians, albums. Please excuse me for being antisocial. So this is the path that I wanted to send it to. And so this is the actual song path in my little virtual environment. And then so I was just writing a little script. So because I'm still a little confused as to what the voiceovers are, but I said
Cool.
if voiceover is in song path, pass. I'm not exactly sure what you want me to do with voiceovers yet, or else store it into the database path.
This is awesome. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you've already got it working, and then that when you run it, because we're recording, why don't you go ahead and demo and show you running this, and then how it shows up in Firebase.
Gotcha. Cool. So it looks like it's done. Process finished. So now I just gotta open up. Are you able to see this?
I see your code editor right now.
Oh, okay. Your screen sharing is paused. Resume share. I think I gotta go to new share. New share. I'm on multiple desktops. There we go. Okay. You will see my web browser.
I still see your code editor.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I gotta hit share. Duh.
There we go. Now I see your mountain background, and now I see your Chrome. Oh,
Okay, there we go.
I see Chrome right now.
Perfect. All right. Let me go to Firebase. Console. Yeah, I think this is the one you guys sent me, my test app. So yeah, see, 3.82 megs. So that's obviously the song. Storage. Boom, there we go.
Boom. Can you try playing it for us?
Yeah.
Should be able to. And then the blue underline link, if you click on that, it should open it up in a new tab. Nice.
Yeah.
Good work. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got everything in there, like the building blocks to get started. I like where you're at already. So the goal right now is to create API endpoints. Here's kind of the larger level structure of what's going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Musicians go on to Google Chrome or any web browser, and they go to interact. Okay, Google, volume 2. They go to any web browser and they go to interactivealbum.app. When they get there, they will then select on the sidebar, they'll select what we're working on as albums. So they'll select albums, and then they'll see all their albums. They'll click into an album, and then they'll say, okay, I want to add a song to this album. So inside of the web interface, they will drag and drop their song, and they'll upload it to the website. And then the web code, yeah, perfect.
Oh, I misspelled it.
Yes. So if you
Gotcha.
click any of those buttons to sign in.
Okay. So it looks like it's going to be an HTTP trigger.
Actually, no, not an HTTP trigger for the first. Well, depends on which one you're talking about. Are you talking about adding a song or deleting?
I'm talking about using the interactive albums by trying to add an album.
Adding an album is actually going to be a Firebase storage trigger.
Gotcha.
The web interface is going to upload the song to your Firebase storage bucket. The code that you've already got, that's going to be handled in the web interface. What you're going to get is a request that says, hey, a new item's been uploaded into this storage bucket. You'll take that and then you'll put it somewhere else. So for example, why don't you click the plus button and add that MP3 file that you have locally, or any junk MP3,
Gotcha.
yeah, or a wave will work.
Let's see. Sounds too long. Yeah, let's try this.
And then, so this is exactly the same thing that'll happen in what we're about to do with these albums. You click upload, and then this is doing the code that you already have. It's taking it from your web interface and it's uploading it to the Firebase storage bucket.
Okay. So when I click upload, what you said this was a Firebase storage trigger?
That is uploading it to Firebase storage. Your code will need to have a Firebase storage trigger, and that gets triggered when an item gets uploaded to the Firebase storage bucket.
Okay.
Does that make any more sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Cool. I think the next thing we can do is let's actually get that Firebase trigger implemented. And that way you can see, oh, okay, this is how my code will get run in the cloud when a new item gets uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
You down to try that?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Let's just wait for this to get uploaded. Is it a big track?
No, it is a wave actually. That is true. Yeah, so it's probably 50 megs.
Cool. So it just uploaded that, and behind the scenes, there's some other functions that are running for this feature. All right. So in a new tab, look up Python Firebase storage trigger. Let's see if it gives us, yeah. Now, to give you some more insight into Firebase versus Google Cloud, Firebase is owned by Google.
Mm-hmm.
Firebase was originally built only on JavaScript.
Mm.
And Firebase functions and storage is all actually Google Cloud Storage. It's very confusing, but although we use Firebase, a lot of what you're doing, because it's Python, Firebase does not actually support Python. So what we're really doing is, although we're calling Firebase, you're actually using, go to Firebase storage, because what that is it's actually using Firebase. Well, I guess it's a wrapper.
Yeah, it's a wrapper.
It's just a Python wrapper around it.
So let's do storage. Storage authentication, custom tokens.
Yeah, let's see if they have any triggers in this Firebase library.
Retrieve data. Queries, storage.
Put, download, get URL. You'll definitely need all those.
Yeah.
Generate key, sort. Okay. That was not helpful. We might have to just reference our code base. I'm trying to think what we definitely already have triggers. So why don't we just take something that's already in our code base? Do you have a copy of our code base downloaded?
Yep, right here.
Okay. Collapse the upper level Musicians AI website and expand functions. And go into main.py. These are where we have all of our Python Firebase functions. That looks like the same config that you got. And then there's our different methods. Actually, go to deploy.py, because deploy.py will list all of the triggers. All right, so most of them are HTTP requests, but what is on Snappy? Oh, okay, so do you see image URL up top and how it says storage, and image resize, how it says storage, and Alexa to sheet, how it says storage? On lines 13, 14, and 11?
Yes, image URL storage, image resize storage, okay.
So let's take one of those to use as kind of the base of what you're gonna use. Now, I guess you do want a URL, so that might be what we want. Actually, that sounds perfect. Why don't you check out image URL? So Control F for image URL to try to figure out where that function actually is inside of main.py.
Sorry, say that one more time.
Copy the image URL on line 13 and Control F for it in main.py to find out where that function is declared. Just the word image URL, not the storage after it.
Gotcha. So copy image URL, go to main.py, Command F. Okay.
Bam. So this is what gets triggered when a new item is uploaded to Firebase storage, this image URL function. And it looks like it's passed in automatically data and a context. So right in that first if statement on line 425, we're looking inside of the data that it passes us, and only the data that it passes us. It's grayed out, so I don't think we're using context at all. That data that it's passing is the actual file that was uploaded. So you can see data has a name, which is going to be the name of the file that was just uploaded, and a content type. And in this case, it only cares about PNGs or images. In your case, you're only going to care about audio files. So you can run this filter as well. And if it's not an audio file that's being uploaded, you can just exit,
So what kind of audio files are we accepting? Only MP3s and waves?
Those are the only ones I'm aware of. Your expertise in audio is way higher than mine. What else could people be uploading that would be an audio file?
Yeah, MP3s and waves are two of the most common, but there's also OGG files. There's also FLAC files. There's also there's a variety of various other lossy types of conversions, because an MP3 is just a codec. So I think I forget what it's called, but there's a couple others, but it's mainly going to be MP3s and waves. But yeah, I mean, depending on how big this gets, you might get a couple FLAC files, you might get a couple OGG files. Is there anything else? No, that's pretty much it.
I want this to be helpful for musicians. So if you envision some musicians, once we start scaling, wanting OGGs and FLAC, let's just build in support for that now. And
Mm-hmm.
from your perspective, it really shouldn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only thinking the only part that we need to make sure that FLAC and OGG will be good is on the Alexa side and making sure that Alexa can play OGG and FLAC. I know Google Assistant can play OGG. I don't know if they can play FLAC. So as we go through this and start uploading more, I'll test out some of those. And if it's not supported, I'll just have you remove those from the list of supported files.
Gotcha.
You cool with that? Wave, MP3, OGG, FLAC?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Cool. So you'll get that data. Reading through this function, it looks like it gets a file name. If it ends with JPG versus PNG, it does some logic. It looks like it then grabs different file sizes and does other things. The most important thing in this is just the file definition and that first line 425, that check that makes sure that the file type is what you expect it to be. So
Yeah.
I think we could copy this and get started. So what we want to do to get started, you're really going to be playing with deploy.py and main.py.
Okay.
Deploy.py is what you're going to run to deploy your Python scripts to cloud, up in your cloud.
Okay.
Main.py is where you're actually going to be storing your code. All of the Python APIs are all stored inside of main.py, or they're abstracted inside of that API folder, which you can see inside of functions.
Okay. So just to clarify, so main.py is like, so if I were to write my function now, I'd write it in main.py.
Yep.
And then so what would be the point of deploy.py?
You just need to list it in there. That way it knows the trigger and how it gets deployed up to Google Cloud when you use the command line. So
Gotcha.
it's a very simple declaration. You can literally copy line 13, paste it right below, and then change
Okay.
image URL to whatever we're calling this function, add song to album.
Right. And so these are all the functions right here, total?
All the Python ones. There's
Oh,
also our Node.js, which you can find inside of index.js. But
okay.
I don't know if you care about the Node.js.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually just started watching a tutorial on Node.js yesterday. Cool. All right. So these are all the Python functions.
That's all of them.
Sweet. And then
So if you want any references, if you get stuck and you're like, how do they do this? We probably are already doing it in one of these functions. These do a lot of work behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, that things are starting to make a lot more sense.
I'm sorry it took so long from when you accepted this to this, because I'm sure this has been overwhelming having all
Oh
this.
no. I wanted to sort of dive in without, any, I guess, prior guidance and sort of just kind of, play with it myself and learn myself. Like that's what I prefer to do.
Okay. Okay. Good. You weren't overwhelmed by it.
No.
Cool. Cool. So let's keep going. Let's start in deploy.py and just copy and paste that single line. Should be all we need to do.
So does order matter?
Order does not matter.
Okay, gotcha. So add song to album, and then what is the this? Oops. So I'm just going to be storage.
Perfect.
So what does this key mean? This is the trigger type.
That's the trigger type, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Make sure you throw a comma after that end quote in storage.
Gotcha.
There we go. Perfect. You're done on deploy.py. You shouldn't have to look at that Python script anymore. So now just copy the entire definition of image URL, and then we'll paste it on line 453. We'll make a new line. Bam. And rename your function of your API.
Oops.
Awesome. Let's see if we can deploy it. Don't worry about changing anything right now. Let's just try deploying it up. So open up your command line.
Okay. Oh, command line and yeah, I should probably.
Either one's fine, whichever one you prefer. Run ls. I just want to make sure we're in the right folder. cd into, actually, yeah, cd into functions. And now here's the command that you'll want to remember. Python deploy.py hyphen only, it might be double dash only, and then add song to album exactly as you've spelled it there. Cool. And I think we're going to get an error, but go ahead and send it. It's thinking. It usually takes a while. Cool. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Run cd dot for me real quick. ls. Okay. Run Firebase init. What we're doing now, right now, it's expecting to push to our production code of the musician AI, but we wanted to give you a little sandbox environment to play around with so that it didn't impact any of our live musicians.
Right.
So what I'm having you do right now is change your code instead of trying to push up to production to push up to your test environment.
Yeah.
It looks like Firebase is not there, so in a Google tab, search Firebase CLI get started. I'm surprised.
I downloaded the G-Cloud CLI.
Okay. Yeah, we'll need one more. Firebase. Yeah, that's step one, install it. Yeah, just run that auto install.
How's your weekend?
It was good. I built a, I was tired of looking at a screen whenever I wanted to write a Medium article. So I built a voice assistant so I can talk to it and it will write all of my Medium articles using my voice and publish it onto Medium.
Nice.
So I did a little playing around.
Cool. Looks like we got Firebase. Oh, and Firebase in this chat. Unexpected error has occurred.
I think we have not logged in yet. Let's go back to that CLI install instruction. Yeah, run that Firebase login. I wonder if the issue is because we're using different CLIs, the permissions might be off, but hopefully this Firebase login fixes it. That's up to you. It's not mandatory. You can do yes or no to that.
Okay. You think
You
I should
should be good now. You should be all good now. So try running it again. Yes. Arrow down to functions and hit the space bar. And now hit enter.
Let's get Firebase Musician Project AI.
Okay. Open up your Firebase console. For the project. Okay, you're already going there. Awesome.
Oh, I think right here.
Yes, and now click the gear in the top left. Project settings. We want the project ID to be copied.
This guy?
There it is. Yeah, copy that whole string. And now go back to that either of the Firebase tutorials we were running and search in that tab. There we go. Yeah, and now search in this tab just up in the top URL. Search change Firebase project. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That'll be it. Control F for the word set. Yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going. It should be a command like, actually, yeah, search Firebase set. 2 separate words. Erg. Let's look on this right tab. Oh, I think it was in there.
Oh, did you see it?
On the right side, use project aliases. Yeah, try that. Firebase use project. Okay, type that command in, Firebase use, and then immediately paste your project ID that you copied. Mm-hmm. Okay, hit up a couple times until you get back to that deploy script that you were trying to run. Python deploy. Yeah, hit that. Let's see if it works now. Oh, CD into your functions folder.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? Okay, it's probably defined somewhere else I'm not aware of. Let me, I just need to find where it is. Can you Control Shift F musician -AI in your code? Like click on your code screen so it knows where to search. And now hit Control Shift F. That will search all of the files in this project. The keys Control Shift and F.
Gotcha.
And now type in musician -AI. I bet it's declared somewhere in here and we just need to change it to your project. Yes. I don't know where that's at. We need to change some of these references.
This is the Firebase RC.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. What else? Musician AI, project, musician AI, client email, project ID, index.js, index.js, musician AI storage. There's a lot of stuff referencing this. How much do we need to change? They're in function index.js, function.py. Maybe it's function.py that we need to change. Keep scrolling a little bit. Functions index.js, test.py. Keep scrolling. Test.py, test.py. I'm looking at the file names, trying to see if there's anything that looks like something we're working with. Keep going. Main.py, there we go. Okay, maybe this is it. This looks like it's it. Main.py, keep scrolling. Let's deploy.py, that's, okay. So it is referenced in deploy.py. Let's fix those first and go to deploy.py.
You want to fix the main.py or the deploy?
Deploy.py. I'm most concerned with those deploy.py. So go to deploy.py up top and we can minimize this for now, this search. And let's head over to deploy.py. and it should be up top. Yeah, yes. Change. You're already on it. Yeah, delete all that and paste what you have saved. Okay, awesome. Let's see if there's any other references. Let me move my map out of the way. Change that project ID on line 27 to what you have saved. And actually, let's just go down this page, Control F for Musician AI, and let's try to replace with your project ID wherever we see it. Projects, Musician AI database default. Yeah, paste that there.
And that was the last one.
Cool. Try deploying, save your changes and try deploying again. If this one doesn't work, I may, yeah, let's see if this works. What? That one does not make sense because you do have access to that. Are you signed into a different account?
No, I mean, this
okay,
is
okay. Maybe that's what we got to do. Follow what that says with the G Cloud auth login. Have you already done that?
Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not logged in. Your current project is set to. So let's try it again.
Try it again. My least favorite part of code, just trying to get it all hooked together.
Yeah, so many.
What are you?
What?
About? Your current active account, voice first. Oh, okay. Change that cloud account on line 26 to your email address. 26. That's weird.
Be able to upload the function to source code. Signed URL.
Access denied. Does not have storage. Does not have storage objects. Create access to the project. Changing this right now. Give me 1 sec. Cloud. Your account might not have permissions for some reason, so I'm going to upgrade you with more permissions on the project. What's the name of this again? The project name? My hyphen test.
Oh, the project name. It's Oh, I have it down here.
That ID. Is
Yeah.
it my hyphen test hyphen app, and is it EMOBGX?
Yep, EMOBGX right there.
Okay. H Mbemba. There you are. You have editing permissions right now. Now, what's the? Is this any different? I am signed in on Google Cloud. I'm in the IM fields, and right now I'm changing you, Mbemba, from editor. I am adding another role of, so what's the specific permission it says you don't have? Is it functions?
G, let me see. Does not have storage.objects.create access.
Storage. Okay. So
Yeah.
I want to give you, let's give you storage, not functions. Storage. Storage admin, object creator, object viewer, storage. Yeah, let's just give you, I'm just going to give you admin to storage, admin, full control, saved. All right, try running that again. You should have updated permissions now.
Cool. Looks like it's going.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's running. Function created with limited access IAM policy to enable unauthorized access. Consider. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, that's fine for now. It'll always take a long time to deploy. Usually I'll do some like breathing in this. Shut your eyes, take like 10 deep breaths or something. Maybe if you have weights in your room, it would be a good time to do some weights or push-ups or
Perfect.
10 sips of water. Anything besides just like staring at that little thing go and just like, why aren't you running faster?
Right.
So we'll get that deployed. And once it's deployed, we'll check it out in the Firebase console, make sure that you can see the function. And then we will drop an image in and see what happens to see if that function is working as it should. And then we'll tweak it and start making it more towards what you want until you feel confident to go on your own. And then we'll call it and you can go more on your own.
Gotcha.
While that is loading, do you want to hit any of those questions that you had on that list?
Yeah. Okay. So, the first question I guess I had is that, is there a reason why you guys use Firebase as opposed to like the built-in wrappings, the built-in Python wrappings for Google Cloud Functions?
There's not a good reason. It was my understanding that we were just using the Google Cloud Functions until you told me that we were using Firebase. This sounds like something we'll want to bring up with Samir because he made a lot of these decisions. Do you think it would be better with Google Cloud instead of Firebase?
Well, I mean, Firebase was actually like incredibly simple. It was really, really easy to get started with, which is why I liked it. But considering that, it's an extra dependency that we need someone else to maintain, as opposed to like, the built-in Python wrappings that Google Cloud Functions already provides. I was just thinking that might be, a liability come down the road. But I mean, so far I like it. I'm glad you guys were using Firebase. Honestly, I was just a little surprised. But from what I understand, I think these Google Cloud Functions Python wrappings came in a little bit later. So maybe Samir just wasn't aware of them.
Heard.
Yeah, I think Firebase was created by a third party, and then Google realized, oh wait, we need to include Python in here because it's really important for the web.
I think you're right. I thought of it as, oh, this is going to make it easier for everybody to use. I didn't think about that liability. If Google Cloud updates and that third-party library doesn't update, we're out of luck, and stuck with our entire code base in a deprecated library.
Yeah.
That's very smart. I'm gonna chat more with Samir about that and see if we can come to any clarity. If you have the options while developing and you want to use Google Cloud Functions, power to you. I like that
Okay.
philosophy, and if you want to go with Google Cloud Functions, do it. If you also like the easiness of Firebase, do that too. You are in charge of which technology pieces you want to use, and both of those sound awesome.
Gotcha. I guess my next question is, so what exactly is a voiceover file?
Cool.
When would they be uploading a voiceover? Yeah, pretty much.
Do you still have interactivealbum.app open?
Yeah.
Head back over to there. And in the top, do you see how the URL says /uploads?
Mm-hmm.
Those are song uploads. Change that URL to /voiceover. These are voiceovers. So that in our mind, the difference between these two is an upload is a produced song or sound file. They want to drag and drop it. They want to upload it. They've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
A voiceover is something that they haven't recorded. They'll need a script, and then they're going to record it straight into whether that's a microphone on their computer or their mobile device or wherever they're uploading it, however they're accessing this web app, they'll do it there. So if you click the record button, it'll record and then it'll upload.
Okay, so when I hit upload, is that going to be so when I hit upload, is that going to trigger Firebase storage as well
Yes,
in the same way? So
exact
essentially,
same way.
Firebase is just listening for any sort of uploads, and then it's determining which of these functions to run.
Yes. Every single time an item gets uploaded into that bucket, it's going to trigger your add song to album function.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, right now, the first thing you're doing is you're saying, is this a PNG? If it's not, don't do anything. Just stop running.
Right. And just go to the next one. Gotcha.
And that makes it so that we don't accidentally trigger functions over and over that shouldn't be running. Because as you can see, sometimes we have some functions that are looking for images and others that are looking for songs, but we filter all of that in our code.
Gotcha.
Looks like you finished uploading.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Check out Firebase and go to your functions tab, and let's see if you have that new function, add song to album.
Oh, Firebase. Yeah, gotcha.
Bam. Now go to the logs for me real quick. Shouldn't be anything in there. It should just say that it's getting set up. All that it says is that it's getting an access token and refreshing it. So head over to your storage. Actually, why don't you run the code that, just go to your storage. This will be faster. And wherever your trigger is, where did it set that trigger up? Go back into your code. Let's figure out what bucket it's triggered to run on. In deploy.py, I think is where it actually says the trigger.
Yeah, so
There we go. And storage up top, where does it, if you keep scrolling up to where it defines storage, yeah, the storage trigger, deploy, runtime, trigger it on that. Keep scrolling over, it says trigger event. Okay, it doesn't specify. So it looks like no matter where an item is uploaded to, it doesn't matter the folder, it's going to trigger this. So upload an image into any of your folders in your Firebase storage, and your function should get triggered. Head back to the Firebase console and just go anywhere. Yeah. And instead of uploading an MP3, why don't you upload an image, either a PNG or a JPG, because that's the code that we currently have. All right. And once it's done uploading, head over to your Firebase functions again, and let's look at the logs. And give it a little bit. I don't think it's even caught that you uploaded something yet. What time is it? 10:55. Yeah, it has not caught that you're running it.
Okay, looks like we got something.
We got lots of things. Are any of them relevant? Do we log anything? It doesn't look like we log any. It says function execution started. It's getting a refresh token and then it's doing stuff, but nothing else is really getting logged besides an OK value. So head back over to storage. Let's see if it did anything. I believe this should have converted the image, but I don't remember. No. Go to database. This one might have stored it inside of Firebase database. Not set up yet. This project is set to use. This can only be accessed. What? That's weird. I've never seen that message before. Cloud Firestore should be running, but it says it's running in data store mode. I wonder if we just messed it. Yeah, click that. Let's see where it takes you to. This is weird.
Yeah, this website changes so often. It's crazy.
There's Google Cloud Platform and there's Firebase, and they both run on. All right, now I'm confused because of that message it gave us on Firebase. We should be able to access Firebase. Go back to Firebase. That's super weird. We don't want that. What it's telling us right now, that's really dumb. That's really dumb.
So it looks like there's a real-time database.
Yeah, I don't like the real-time database. We want Firestore. How do I find out where did our button go and why are they being dumb with us? Okay, what do we do here? How hard was it for us to switch projects? Should we just have you create a new project and just use that? I should have put an entity in the Firestore to make sure. We need to get you set up and going, which means we need a Firebase. This project does not have a Firebase, and I don't know why it doesn't have a Firebase. I'm going to run a search and see. Well, what did it say up there again? Yeah, wait, when this project is set up to use Cloud Firestore and this project is set up to use Cloud Firestore. What is it, in data store mode?
Yeah.
Data store mode.
Using the project settings change.
Okay, it says, unfortunately, there's no way to purge the previous existence of a cloud data store to try either of those. So you'll have to use a new project to try that in native mode. My bad. I think what just happened was because we triggered the Firebase function and it tried to write to a database that didn't exist, it automatically created this in data store mode. And that was my bad. So are you down to create a new Firebase project?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can't just remove data store or data store mode and create like a
run another Google search. Just copy that, what it says right there, and run a Google search. If you can figure out how to delete data store, I'm down. The result I just got from a Google search that I ran said it's impossible.
Yep, I think we're on the same Stack Overflow.
Yeah, that was what I just saw.
Yeah. that's what it's looking like.
Wait, click. What is that link? That last one that had -2. Where does that just take you to cloud? Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, just takes you to console.
That's not helpful.
All right.
Click the Fire logo, and that should take you to your list of projects. Why don't you just create your own? Yeah, that way we don't have to worry about any permissions. You'll own it, and you can just share it with us. Whatever you want to name it. You could call it Musician AI, whatever. You can call it Alexa for Musician. Yeah, voice first.
Voice first test project.
Keep scrolling, continue.
Enable.
Yep, all good. And I know we just hit an hour, and I try to keep meetings short. So my goal is to get you in a place where this is working as quickly as possible so that I can get out of your hair and you can go about the rest of your day.
No worries, man. This is very informative.
Okay. That's good feedback. I'm here to try to help you.
Yep, I appreciate it.
All right. We need to copy the project ID. Triple click. I love that. Not many people are aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
Think line 27 and where you're at as well.
Yeah, let me just double check for it. All right.
Ah, good catch.
Yeah, here it is. Cool.
Deploy that.
So we don't need to create a, don't we need to create that database?
While it's deploying, I'll have you create the database because it takes a long time to deploy. Just make sure it gets into the mode where it's doing that.
Okay, so an error again.
What?
Not have
On
storage
this
objects.
project, that is, you created, unless it's still trying to deploy to a different project, but we just gave you access to the project.
Will access status denied.
That one doesn't make any sense. You literally just created this. You own all of it.
Yeah.
Try running it again. That's really weird. That's really weird. Why would you not have access when you created the project? Yay, doesn't matter. Yes, will make it easier for you to work with. Okay. I don't know what happened. Looks like it's working. Yeah. While it's running, why don't you go ahead and create that Firestore like you were thinking earlier? Yeah, create database. That's the button. That's what we should have said.
Yeah. So what's the difference between Firestore and the real-time database or whatever, or real?
The real-time database was their initial offering. When I first started using Firebase, that was all I knew was real-time database. And then like 2 years ago, Firebase saw how people were using the real-time database for mobile applications and real-time database stuff. And they were like, okay, let's upgrade this and let's make it more around the collection and document architecture. So you initially did the real-time database, right?
Yeah.
And you saw in there it was just like JSON, and it really didn't matter how you stored anything. It was just a massive object, right?
Yeah.
Now in this, you see that there are collections, and inside of
Mm.
collections, there are documents. And
Mm.
documents have attributes, and it can also contain more collections of documents, which can then nest further and further.
Gotcha.
So they gave it a little bit more structure of collections and documents, which you kind of have to wrap your head around that mental model of collection documents. But once you do, it works very well.
Yeah. I was messing around with it a while back, and I was getting. Yeah, so the Python or the normal API that they have for Firestore is actually pretty intuitive. Just doc collections, and then it creates various iterator objects. It's very similar to oh, I forget what it was, but yeah, it's not too difficult to get your mind around. I was just messing with it and realizing how documents work and how collections work, and how you can add and do all of this from command line and from Python.
You're on it.
Wait up to 2 minutes.
I feel like that's not even accurate. Samir prints out wait up to 2 minutes. I think it's actually like wait up to 5 minutes, maybe even 10.
Oh yeah.
Their JavaScript library is way faster at uploading, but like you noticed, their Python is relatively new and still being developed.
Mm.
All right, so you're about to upload the function. We can test it again. Now, while it's uploading, let's look at your code and start shifting it over towards working with audio files instead of images. So the first check, instead of ends with PNG, let's have it ends with whatever you want the default type to be, WAV, MP3.
Okay, so they're probably gonna want to upload waves for most high quality.
Excellent.
Okay,
And
so
on line, after line 468, why don't you create a new line and say print DB name. That way we can see some stuff in the logs. That variable you have DB, yeah. Yeah, let's just, let's save that. And then do we want to just scrap the rest of the code right now? Like, I don't know that that's going to be, I don't know that any of that's going to be helpful. So the docref.set is good, but I think you'll be able to figure that out without looking at this inside of your, perfect, cool.
yeah. So okay, so it looks like it's done.
Yes.
So let's go to functions.
We got your function.
Nice. So all I gotta do is drop in a WAV file, correct?
We got to redeploy because we made these changes while it was deploying and the changes weren't saved. So deploy your code again and it'll start running.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if logo in data name, or if logo name and content type ends with, so it should, we don't really need this, right? Because it should be if voice record isn't in name, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Why don't we just have data content type ends with wave and then delete that name part? That's very smart. Good observation.
Yeah, let me yeah, so if slash voiceover isn't in name, or rather, we can just have this as a separate function.
We'll want to check it somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll want to check it somewhere. Maybe not right there.
Okay, so if data content type ends with a wave, DB name equals data name, file name equals data name, print DB name. Okay, cool.
Super simple.
So when it prints, it'll print out on my terminal. I just gotta upload it. Cool.
Right there. Yeah, that's where it'll print it, is right on that screen you were just looking at. Right there. It'll print it right there.
Oh, here?
Yeah. Those are your logs.
Okay, cool.
Cool. You might want to deploy one more time because you made that change of your that logo.
Okay, so every time you make a change, you gotta deploy.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of frustrating. So if it's possible to run it locally, you might want to run some of the functions locally to see. But the downside of what we're doing is it kind of requires the trigger to be sent in, which you can only do in the cloud.
Gotcha.
But it seems like that one it updated a lot faster once you did the first one. And you can definitely upload something now, but I think that logo check that you had, well, if you rename a file to logo, if you rename a WAV file to logo and you upload it, it should trigger that function that you currently have up there right now.
Right.
Or
right.
we can wait a couple minutes and then just upload anything that's a WAV.
Cool.
And can you start to see what you're going to do with this function in the next steps once we're able to print out the name in the log?
Yeah, it's all starting to sort of come together. Yeah, if it wasn't for, you helping me out with all the various authentications, I probably would not have to get this. Because I was able to understand, main was kind of where, I was going to do the majority of the action. But I didn't really know what deploy was. I didn't know why functions was there, or test or SM API. So, well, yeah, this is incredibly helpful.
You're a very fast learner. Appreciate having you on the team. That insight of Firebase that's the kind of stuff I was hoping bringing on people would give us. That's stuff that if it was just Samir and I working, we wouldn't have caught that. But you coming on, that's something we need to consider. Firebase is easy, but it is a liability because Google doesn't support it.
So storage. So I just got to upload something into my storage.
That's it.
So wave.
Uploaded, nice. Anything show up in the logs?
Let's go check it. Yes, it's about to be done uploading.
Oh, my bad. I couldn't even see.
There you go. Good.
I had the Zoom chat covering the progress bar. There it is.
Oh, boom.
Cool. And the billing account not configured, I don't think you're doing any external calls, so you should just be able to ignore that one. If you start making API calls for whatever reason, I can't imagine why you would right now. We'll need to enable billing and we can help with that. But for right now, I think you should be entirely free. It looks like it's logging what you want. Cool. So now when you uploaded that file, it logged the message right here. What do you think your next step is towards accomplishing the goal of adding song to album?
It looks like musicians.
When what we want is go for it.
Okay, so it looks like I'm going to need to get either create a path for that musician and their albums, or if it's already there, get the path, and then get the song path as well. So where exactly? Okay, so it's going to be uploaded. So get the song path from Firestore.
Two parts there. The first part, you're saying the path of where you're gonna save this data into Firebase, right?
Yes. So yes, save the data into Firebase. So if they don't already have an albums collection in Firebase, then create an albums collection for them. But if they do, get the path for their albums collection.
There shouldn't even need to be a check. The stuff that you're doing, it should automatically, if there is the collection, it'll add the document, and if there is none, it's still adding a document, and it's creating the collect. Really, you're adding a document
Gotcha.
to the collection, and Firebase
Gotcha.
behind the scenes will say, "Oh, this doesn't exist. I'll just create this collection and put the document in there." But if it does exist, I mean, it's already referenced.
Okay.
Expect that songs get uploaded into that path. So that the database path that it gets uploaded in is called the context, which you can see there. The two variables that are passed when your function gets triggered. There's data and there's context. Data is the actual file, so that's like, here's the content type, here's the name of the file. Context is, here's where it was uploaded, here's the file path that it was uploaded to, and here's the individual variables. So you can navigate the context to get the name of the musician and the name of the album. That way you already know, okay, I'm going to save it inside of this musician and this album based off of the context. And you'll use that data. I think Firebase should have a get URL function.
Okay.
And you'll just get the URL of the resource that was uploaded. And inside of the musician and album that you got from the context, you will save that URL inside of that musician.
Gotcha.
And then that's it. That should be the entire adding a song to an album. The website uploads the song to the album to Firebase storage, which triggers your function. Your function grabs the name of the song as well as the URL and saves that URL and name inside of that musician's album.
Gotcha.
End.
Sweet. Yeah, it seems fairly simple.
Anything? What else can I help you with before I let you explore some more?
Let me see. Let me look through my questions. Okay, so in the album database, so it's just going to be the song name and the artist name. Do we want to include anything about like the producer or the date released or like the link to album artwork or anything like that?
Great question.
Or is that
Album image? You're asking the right questions. Tell me more. Like as a musician, I'm trying to think of what a musician wants, and you are a musician. Tell me more about this idea you have.
The real question is who will be accessing these albums, right?
The end user. So I access these on a daily basis, and fans will access these. So the same people that are listening on Spotify and on SoundCloud are the same people that are going to be talking to these musicians on Alexa.
Gotcha. And so will it be, so they'll be accessing it from their Alexa device. So really, so song and artist name obviously are important. Yeah, I think it might be handy to have like, the date released, like, hey Alexa, when was XYZ song released, or who was the producer of this song. I think that might be handy, like, because for musicians like myself, we're also fans, we like to dig deep into things like that. Like, who produced this? When did they do this work? And sort of, do background research into that as well. Not just, who was the song made by.
Would you call this metadata of a song?
Yeah, this is definitely metadata.
What other metadata do you think would be important when a musician is uploading a song? People like you who are hardcore fans might want to look at. We've got date release, who produced the song.
Extra songwriters, if an artist wants to include extra songwriters, maybe if there's like a sample, what the original sample is from, because that's a really big thing.
Would the original sample would they upload that original sample, or would they say like the original sample came from this track?
Yeah, they just say the original sample came from this track, or they could upload. That might be nice to be able to easily, play the original sample. That one we might have to put a pin on, because I think that would be kind of cool. But it just, I know some artists are a little bit cagey about, saying where they got their samples from.
I'm thinking all this can be optional. Like, I think your mind's in the right place. I don't think this is going to be any back end work. I think how we can structure this is we can put all that on the front end web interface.
Mm-hmm.
They upload the song, and then we say, great, can you give us some additional details about the song?
Right.
Your function's already running and creating that reference inside of Firebase. They are then typing in, okay, date release, type in that info, who produced the song, extra songwriters, original sample. And then when they click save, that website will just augment the data that you've already created, and it will automatically add it into the database. You won't have to do any work with Python. It's all front end work.
Gotcha.
And then we can reference it all from Alexa and give greater context. Like, that's a good level up. I like that a lot. Thank you, Harrison.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll come up with some extra metadata if I think of any more, and just like, send it to you on Slack, because I think that could definitely be useful.
This platform's being built by musicians. This is what I wanted.
Sweet.
What else we got?
Let me see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think while we were talking, we answered really all of my questions that I had written down.
Excellent. Do you feel like you have a path moving forward, like you know where to go?
Yeah.
If you need anything else, I'm down to hop on these calls anytime. I'm going to shut off the recording.